So I'm Joey Wilson. I'm a junior, bioengineering major, global politics minor. I'm from Duncan, South Carolina. I'm involved in student government as the chair of transportation and facilities. I'm the president of Clemson International Relations Association, and I participate on the Model United Nations team. I'm very active with the It's On Us movement on campus, and I sort of spearheaded that and continue to do so with a lot of great people. I'm also involved in a lot of various honors societies and organizations like Tau Beta Pi, ODK, Mortar Board, Order of Omega, and organizations like that. And I think that's it.
Okay. Did you say name first?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Whatever order.
All right. So I am Nicki Seidman. I am a junior political science and language and international trade major, so double major. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. And I guess my primary involvement is student government. Throughout my years at Clemson, I've been involved in a lot of different parts of student government, whether it be Council of Diversity Affairs or Freshman Council or Funding Board or sustainability, any of that. So, but now I am primarily in Senate on transportation and facilities with Joey, which is always fun. I'm also involved in my sorority, Delta Zeta, as well as multiple honors organizations on campus, similar to Joey. And then I've also been involved in some political science programs throughout my time at Clemson, such as Lyceum Scholars. That's probably the main one.
Oh, and I forgot to mention my fraternity. I'm in Delta Tau Delta. I used to be the vice president of member development, but now I'm just like an active member.
Peasant. He's just a peasant.
I'm just
A normal.
a common man. Well, I'd say Nicki and I actually ended up really getting to know each other really well last semester, and we had a lot of conversations about sort of Clemson in general, and we realized we had some similar experiences. We studied abroad in the Balkans at different times, but with the same professor, so we bonded over that, and we realized we had a similar view of Clemson, that we loved it a lot. We loved the Clemson family and the experience, but we thought it could be enhanced in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, just going off of what Joey said, so my sophomore year, so last year, I was in Senate the first semester, and then I studied abroad in Spain. And so then coming back this year, I interviewed back onto Senate, and I realized that a lot of things were very different. Coming back from being abroad, I saw things differently. I know that's pretty cliche, like, oh, studying abroad changed your life, but I am that person that has to say it really did. And so I saw student government and just mainly Clemson differently. Clemson's a great campus. However, coming back has allowed me to see what can be improved. And rather than waiting for someone else to make those improvements, I figured why not be the person to try and get those done.
Yeah, we were pretty good friends, and it was really cool just to realize like we had this connection, and we decided let's move forward. So we had conversations with a lot of different students around campus, and they urged us to do it. So we thought, may as well, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so in terms of academics, which I know definitely affects every student on campus, we just want to, I guess our main points would be extending the add, drop, and withdrawal period and advocating for a test moratorium the week before exam week. And then another big point for us is 2 free transcripts for all students for when they apply to jobs, grad school, stuff like that.
Yeah, so kind of like opposite of academics is student life, because you spend all your time studying, but what do you do when you're not studying? You're a normal student. So underneath that, one big thing for us is we want to improve the ticketing system, because as we all know, Clemson football is a huge part of our Clemson experience. So we think that the online ticketing system is the way to go. However, there are a lot of improvements. So we'd like to still incorporate loyalty somehow into that to bring back the camping out system, but just improve it overall, make blocks more coherent and better. As well, and then another thing underneath student life, which is a huge one for me because I've already talked about studying abroad and I never stop talking about it, but we want to bring global engagement to campus. And I know that's something that Clemson is moving in the right direction for. But for that, we just feel, I know for me when I studied abroad, and Joey has gone abroad even more than I have, although he's better at not talking about it all the time, it really opens up your mind to diversity and what is out there. So we were thinking, well, how can we bring more diversity and more inclusivity to Clemson? It's a rural school, it's in upstate South Carolina, you're not in a city, so you don't have too many demographics, so what do? So we figured, why not bring diversity to Clemson? And for us, that's under global engagement. So we really just want to work on bringing new opportunities and experiences to Clemson's campus, whether that be internationally or just like nationally, or just different interests. And just bringing different and diverse things to Clemson would be global engagement for Joey and I.
Yeah, a good example of that would be the Global Symposium that's already happening in, I think it's late March. We think that's a great...
March 5th.
March 5th. We think that's a great opportunity, and we've been involved with that a little bit. A big one for me also in terms of ticketing is making sure that students have seats, because sometimes during the game, students will be so engaged, but maybe they have to pee or something, and then last year if you left and you came back, you didn't have a seat to come back to. So now we want to make sure that students can be safe at the game, do what they need to do, and have a seat for sure.
So underneath wellness and safety, I would say our two biggest points on that would be mental health, and then parking and CAPUS kind of as one thing together. So Joey, it's his little baby, the mental health and CAP. So if you want to explain that?
Yeah. So in terms of mental health on campus, it's something that's huge. We have a great staff at CAPS, which is the Counseling and Psychiatric Services or Psychological Services, but they don't have enough resources necessarily to treat students well or treat students effectively. Also under that, I think the perception of mental health on campus is something that needs to be addressed. We just need to talk about it more. Students really want to support their Clemson family, but they're not sure how. So I think having more peer-to-peer dialogue and also letting people know what resources are out there so that students know how to take care of their Clemson family. I think the Clemson family is a great thing, but people just don't know how to best take care of people right now, and we need more of that on campus too.
So just kind of to sum it up, we need to provide, we claim we're the most supportive family, and we are, but we just need the resources to back that up. So that's kind of the reasoning behind all of that. And then parking, I don't have to tell you, I don't have to tell anyone on this campus who drives to campus or even takes the CAT bus, it's a big issue. So we really want to make that a better system overall. Long term, we'd love to add more spots on campus, because as we continue to grow, these issues are just going to get bigger. However, we know that doesn't help us today or tomorrow. It doesn't help us, stalking other cars and waiting for their spots. So to do that, we think short-term CAT bus is the way to really fix that problem. So you don't even have to bring your car to campus. So that's A, more sustainable, and B, it kind of gets rid of the parking problem. So with that, we just want to make it more efficient overall. If you've taken the CAT bus, you know that sometimes it's really not reliable, or they could drive right past you, or it's late. And if that's going to be your primary source of transportation, it needs to be better, it needs to be improved. So we're working hard with that. Actually, Joey has been working with Dan Hoffman for years, so he's really your guy to go to. And we're both on transportation and facilities on Senate, so that's a big thing for us. As well as we also want to focus on the CAT bus downtown. So if you're 21 and you go downtown, or you just like to sneak downtown, whatever you do, you know that if you rely on the CAT bus, there's a very good chance you might not get a ride home. And Joey and I think that drunk walking is also a huge issue, and if you're going to be doing something, be responsible. So the CAT bus needs to be that outlet so that we can be responsible. So we want to add more times and just again make it more efficient overall.
Yeah, and with that, I think part of the problem right now is just communication and transparency, which I guess would segue into our fourth aspect of our platform, but specifically for parking and for CAT bus, there are so many different opportunities for students on campus to have great programs. For example, the carpool program is a program a lot of students don't know about, but they can take advantage of. And the more students that carpool to campus, the more spots that will be open for everyone, because instead of having 4 cars from an apartment, you have 1. The cool thing about that program that students don't know is that if you have 3 or more students, it's free. So I think that'd be really big too, just increasing communication in terms of when is the bus coming, and is another bus coming downtown? Are you really getting left? Or ensuring that that is coming, for example. Or also just increasing communication so people know there are spots here right now, and you can tell that using the My Clemson app, stuff like that. But yeah, going into our fourth aspect of
Yes.
transparency, we think that's almost the most important thing. We think our platform brings a lot of tangible changes to campus, but in terms of transparency, we think we see a lot of tangible and intangible change that really impacts everyone. The tangible things for transparency for us would be open office hours. So every week just having time available for people to come see us. We think that's really important. So if people are experiencing anything or want to hold us accountable or ask us any questions, they can come directly to us. They know exactly when, and if our times don't work, they can reach out to us and we'll make time. Another big aspect of that would be student government's slogan right now is we see you, we hear you, we're fighting for you. But we think something that needs to be a big part of that is also people seeing us. We want to be out there. We want to go to people's events, no matter what organization or who people are, whether we agree with them politically or on a religious basis or anything, we're going to be at those events and support students. Military events, club sports events, Gay Straight Alliance events, Black Student Union, all organizations on campus deserve support from the Clemson family, which is shown a little bit by our presence, and we do support everyone.
And for Joey and I, that does include Greek life. We're the only candidates that are both Greek, and we know firsthand that the Greek system right now is a bit flawed. However, we don't think it's a broken system, and sometimes it feels like people are treating it like a broken system, and it's not. There are so many great things about Greek life, and we just want to build a more positive image with Greek life overall. So that's another point for us.
Overall, we want to just start breaking down barriers on campus, and we think a big perceived barrier right now is the Greek non-Greek barrier. So to help with that, we want to work with the organizations committee on student government and even start another committee called the Greek Stabilization Committee to start breaking that specific barrier down so that Greek and non-Greek students can talk about issues that affect all of campus and have an effective dialogue so we can all see a shared vision for Clemson in the future, a real 2020 plan to just push us forward and make things even better. Something else big to us is just making sure people get the answers to their questions. We think right now there are a lot of policies on Clemson's campus that either people don't know or people don't understand. And when they have that question why, they deserve answers. And that's going to come from our town halls. At least once a semester, maybe even twice a semester, we're going to have a town hall that's going to involve student government leaders as well as administrators. So students can come, hear what we're working on, and then ask questions, which I think is a major key.
Stop. I can't.
Major key alert. We have to tackle things head on. We can't avoid issues anymore. We have to talk about all issues regardless of what's going on. We think the First Amendment is important. People deserve to express themselves, and every student voice deserves to be heard, whether we agree with it or not.
I guess my biggest thing is I don't want people to be scared of speaking their opinion. Sometimes Clemson does feel a bit homogenous, and it kind of deters people from speaking their opinion because it might be different. And Joey and I fully support, the underdog. We fully support those minorities because everyone, like Joey said, everyone has a right to speak out. We may not necessarily agree, but we really want everyone to say anything that's on their mind at any time, as long as it's not physically harmful to others. There is a barrier for that, but everyone has the right to speak their opinion.
Yeah, I'd argue that that's what college is about, talking to different people who have different opinions, and even if they have a different opinion, it may reinforce your own. College is about experiencing different types of people with different opinions and different thoughts, and my hope would be all those opinions that are spoken will start a dialogue on campus about all of these issues, which is what we desperately need.
Yeah, you're supposed to challenge yourself in college. If you're not being challenged every day, then why are you here? You're not going to grow as a person in college, and that's what Joey and I think it's really all about.
Yeah, and Katie, you mentioned, issues that might pop up in our term, but I'd argue that there are issues out there right now that have to be addressed. So my hope would be not only addressing things reactively, because you can't predict everything, but being proactive in terms of a lot of these issues, including like mental health, sexual assault, drug use. All the issues going on campus need to be discussed.
So I think Joey and I are very realistic people. So when we were deciding what do we want to run on, what do we want our platform to be, we went out there and we asked students, what do you want? Obviously everyone has this great long-term goal for Clemson to be more supportive, more inclusive overall, you know, so many great things. But what about tomorrow? What do you want tomorrow? And that's where we got ideas like parking. You want a parking spot tomorrow. What do you want? You want a football ticket to go see Auburn or whoever. Like you want your ad drop period extended so you're not stuck in a schedule that you hate. So our platform does focus a lot on tangible items because that is going to affect the students right now and like the students of today. However, we do have that emphasis as well, like Joey said, on the not tangible items, on the long-term issues, and that does fall a lot under transparency.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say when students are looking at our platform, it's pretty comprehensive and it's pretty holistic, and we think it affects all aspects of campus. We think looking at our platform, students will see a lot of things they agree with and a lot of things that maybe they've been fighting for, because like Nicki said, we've spoken to a lot of students about it. But that's the thing, I mean, there could be things on our platform that students don't agree with, and things that might not necessarily happen in a day, in a month, or even in a year, but they're things we're going to fight for. And if students do disagree with us, we are going to be open. Like I said, we're going to hold open office hours. We want students to give us their opinion continuously, because if something isn't right for a student, we don't want to do it. We want to make sure we're doing the right thing for the student body now, 20 years down the road, and even further in the future. We hope we're going to be very impactful leaders that really consider the student body, because we love Clemson students.
Yeah, and I know for me, at the end of the day, I'm just a normal student. Joey's just a normal student. You know, we're not superhuman as much as we wish we could be. But so we're fighting for things that we know, like we have experienced and we know. So when we're talking to students, that's really like, I think that might be the most impactful thing, you know? I go to the same classes as you, I go to the same campus as you, and I'm fighting for the exact same things as you.
Yeah, and I mean, our platform and what we're trying to do is dynamic, and we're going to try to be proactive and also be reactive if we have to be. You know, we're picking up new things for our platform every day. I've talked to students, for example, who really want to extend dining hours, and Senate right now is trying to do just that. And I've talked to students who are concerned about stress before exam week and think that, you know, advocating for a test moratorium is a great start, but maybe we should have more programs on campus so that people can de-stress, like playing with puppies, stuff like that. I mean, we're going to do things that are going to really benefit students now and down the road, and that's why we're different. I'd say we've done things just to reach out to all students. I mean, we had karaoke night at TD's. We're planning on going downtown and interacting with students and giving out food. We're just trying to really try to get people to vote, whether they vote for us or not. Why don't people vote? I think that's a question we have to answer too, and it's because people feel so disengaged, not only by student government, but by administrators, and that's something we're fighting to change actively, and I think that's something that really sets us apart. We acknowledge that the system isn't perfect. We want to help try to start changing the system to make it better for students. If people have qualms with student government, we want them to come to us and say, why aren't you advocating for this, or why did this happen? And like I mentioned earlier, why is such an important question that we all have to actively answer? And that's a huge part of our platform. I'd say that really sets us apart a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to that. That was a pretty good answer.
Ooh.
I struggled with this every single time. My fun fact.
I have a good fun fact. I was the Clemson hot dog eating champion my freshman year for Greek Week. And then my second fun fact is that I'm like hyper flexible, so that's an interesting one too.
My fun fact, and this is terrible because it's not fun, but like feet really gross me out.
How is that a fun fact?
It's not fun, I know, but it's like quirky about me, you know?
That's
so it's
fair.
like essentially the same thing. A fun fact about Joey and I is that we were born in the same hospital. So that's pretty cool.
Another fun fact would be we both studied abroad with our favorite professor at Clemson, Dr. Vladimir Matić, and we both went to Serbia just at different times. So
Hey, one of my fun facts too. Sorry, now I'm sharing everything. I used to have a speech impediment. I used to, for like the first 3 years of my life, I didn't take my pacifier out of my mouth, so I just didn't talk. I didn't talk for the first 3 years of my life, and then when I finally took it out, I couldn't even talk.
I guess if we're admitting everything, I couldn't tie my shoes until second grade, but I can tie my shoes now,
Okay.
guaranteed.
This should be fun. Before we say anything too bad. Okay, I really think Joey is a Renaissance man. Does it all. So 2 words, Renaissance man.
Ooh, I'd say Nicki is passionate, driven, and keeps me in check. That's I'm gonna cheat on that.
Hey, you're
but-
supposed to say funny.
So it's to say funny.
Yeah. I hope they just think we're approachable. We are doing this for the students, and if we're not able to communicate with the students, then we're not really doing our job right.
Regardless if we win or not, I hope students feel empowered to make the change they want to make on campus. I mean, I think something so personal to us is our own life and how we want to impact other people. And I really think the purpose of life is to make whatever you're doing better, whatever that is. And for me, it's making Clemson better right now. So I hope that students will see us, see what we were trying to do, and hopefully start doing it themselves, whether it's through student government or not, because there are so many big ways students can make change on campus, and I support all of them. I don't know, I guess we would just love to say, like, please vote. Whether you vote for us or not, it's important that you express yourself, and when you're voting, really do a little bit of research into what we're each trying to do. Whether it's Blackshire Burgess or Joey and Nicki, we each are trying to accomplish a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to make Clemson better. So please elect whoever you think will make Clemson a better place.
Yeah, I'm fully confident that Clemson will be in great hands with whoever wins. So voters can't really go wrong in this situation. You just got to get out there and vote.
And it's easy, it's online. If you don't vote, you can't complain about what the leaders do, in my opinion. Same thing with the presidential election. Please vote.